Many people in this country and really across the planet, you spent time within the last couple of days setting goals for this new year. And deep down, you have this gnawing feeling that, yep, you can set them, but how realistic is it really for you to expect that you're going to be able to achieve those goals? I love what Bob Proctor says, that he puts the statistic at 4% of the population of people who really are able to set big, bold, audacious goals and live into them and achieve them. Well, today, I want to support you in really being able to live into those goals and achieve those goals that you've set for yourself this new year by offering you 5 ways that people sabotage their New Year's goals and then what to do about them instead. So if you like what you're hearing, hit the like button, the comment as we go along, and I'll be inviting you to comment as we go along. And absolutely, if you know of anybody who gets stuck in achieving their goals, then please feel free to share this. And there are those of you who are gaining great value from coming to these Facebook Lives, whether you're watching them live or watching the video. And then there are those of you who know you want to go deeper. So this week is full. I had a masterclass last week and set time aside to talk to people. This week is full, but I do have some times early next week that if you want to have a deeper conversation about you and your dream, and we are not working together, put New Year in the comment section. My name is Felicia Searcy, and it is my joy to be your partner in believing. I have had the honor of helping thousands of people around the world create their dream life, lives that they love. And it is my joy to be here with you today, looking you in the eye, knowing that if you can think it up, you have the ability to achieve whatever your desire is and bring them into the facts of your life. So we've got Becky and Severina and somebody else. Yes, New Year and watching. So welcome, everybody. So here's the problem. We've all been taught to set goals. We've all been taught to set goals that we can really reach for and that will stretch us and cause us to reach down deep. And yet the reality is, the facts are, let's not call it the reality, the facts are, so few people really know how to achieve those goals. And so I watch people then water down what they say they really want to achieve. I watch people talk about setting, quote, realistic goals, which, you know, as you're have a stretch goal and you're reaching for something, we can scaffold it into what's the next reach that you really can see yourself reaching for. But the minute you start watering down your goals, you start watering down you. You start watering down your life. Let me take these off. I'm going to sacrifice beauty for clarity. As we get into this afternoon, the thing I really want you to understand is that your goals, the achievement of your goals, it's great. It's wonderful. It's so fulfilling. And having the results is just fabulous. And the whole purpose of your goals, it's not for the getting, it's for the growing. So the minute you start talking about what's realistic, effectively, you have watered down who you are and discovering what is it that you're capable of. So let's think in terms of big, bold, audacious goals that when you think about them, you get excited and scared all at the same time and demand that you reach beyond anything that you've ever imagined for yourself before. And let's look at what's the anatomy of achieving your goals. Lucid, it's so good to see you here. I'm just so you know, I'm not able to see everybody on the broadcast, and I'm not able to always see the comments. But I know that you're here, and I'm thrilled that you all are here. All right. So, number one reason why people do not achieve their goals. Number one, because they do not have a burning desire. That you know what you don't want, but to really allow yourself to to ignite the flame of desire for something that you do want, that can be one of the most difficult things for people to do, to really allow themselves to ask, what is it that I really want? And then to be able to build the flame of desire for it. It's a really scary thing to really want something. I mean, to really want something. You know, I watch people talk about, if I really want something and it doesn't happen, then I'm going to be disappointed, or I'm going to feel like a failure, or I won't be satisfied with what it is that I have. And people go to such lengths to avoid what they see as the disease of disappointment or failure. And so I watch as people literally hold back on the reins of desire. Well, if you go back to what I said earlier, understanding the purpose of that desire, understanding the purpose of your goal. The purpose of your goal is not for the getting. The purpose of the goal is to grow you. And so when you start imagining a goal that absolutely lights you up and scares you to death all at the same time, it is the process by which you will grow and discover more of who you are created to be and what you're capable of. And it will also cause you to deepen a reliance on something so much bigger than just you as you're alone in your human self. So one of the first acts of really being committed to a goal is to really fan the flame of desire. You want something that you are so in love with that you couldn't imagine life without it. You are not going to do what's required for something that you're lukewarm around. You just won't do it. And that's one of the key reasons why people just kind of hang out in the same basic results. They might, shift things a little bit. There might be incremental changes, but when we're talking about the depth of transformation that's required for you to really create the kind of life where several times a day you hear yourself saying, oh my God, I love my life, to achieve those big audacious goals, you must have a burning desire. So, number one way that people sabotage their goals is that they don't really have a burning desire for it. So what do you do instead? You fan the flame of that desire by getting super clear around what is it that you would really love. And you're working with those images and you're owning those images and you're literally causing yourself to fall in love with those images. All right. So burning desire, put the words burning desire, whether you're watching this live or on the recording, the replay, put the words burning desire in the comment section to really land that concept that in order to truly achieve what it is that you're saying that you really want, you have to keep fanning the flame of desire. You must build a burning desire. All right. And if you want to go deeper with what you're hearing me share today, and we're not already working together, put the words New Year in the comment section and we'll get you set up for next week. I'm already booked out for this week and then we'll get you set up for next week. Okay. So number two way that people sabotage themselves is that they, I have to look at my notes, that they've never really made a decision, that people don't make a decision for it. Very few people understand the method and the power of what it means to really make a decision. First is that you discover something that you are in love with. Then you don't consult conditions, you don't consult facts, you don't consult your history, because all of that will give you reasons why not to go forward with whatever your goal is. Remember, the purpose of your goal is to grow you. It's not for the getting, it's for the growing. which means you must reach beyond anything that you've ever experienced for yourself, that you've created for yourself, you've known for yourself up to this point. The minute you start thinking something more expansively, everything, Becky, you know this, and you have fundamentally stared it down. You too, Luce, both of you have brilliantly stared down those voices of the status quo, and you put a stake in the ground and you have said, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And I've watched you systematically live into that decision and create a whole new dynamic of results. The way that most people make decisions is that they look to see what the conditions will support. And then once they make the decision, they let the conditions tell them whether or not they're going to stay dedicated to that decision. That if things happen in the outer that may not necessarily be your preference or may actually put some things at risk, watch people back away and back away from their goal, back away from their decision, and have reasons like, I'm just being sensible. This is just the right thing to do. That's not a decision. A decision doesn't know anything about your facts. I've got I had a mastermind partner once. We were in the same mastermind group, who was training for a triathlon. Now think about the commitment it takes to train for a triathlon. And we were in Hilton Head one weekend. There was a group of us in Hilton Head as a mastermind group. And he made a decision that every morning he was getting up and swimming. For those of you who don't know, Hilton Head's in South Carolina. It's right there on the beach. And he would get up every morning. Now, this was in early April. And so it's the Atlantic Ocean. That water is cold. And there was somebody else in the group who said, hey, I noticed that you're getting up there and swimming. And he said, wow, that water must be cold. And he said, I wouldn't know. My decision doesn't know anything about cold water. That's what it takes to truly achieve your goal. You must be willing to live into your decision, regardless of what the facts and conditions tell you that you can or cannot do. So, and it's one of those things that you have to keep reminding yourself about the decision. It's not just once, it's not just twice, but it's an ongoing commitment saying, I'm in, I'm doing this no matter what. The power in that, here's where the power in that lies. As you have said, I'm doing this, you have literally gained access to a whole nother level of creativity, ideas, and opportunities that don't need to show themselves to you from the place of, well, let me see what happens. Let me see how it goes. You're at a completely different level of creativity and thinking. The ideas are very different from that state of decision. But when you put a stake in the ground and say, I'm in, watch your ability to now access ideas and see opportunities and take those bold actions that you weren't necessarily doing before. All right, so number 2, the second way that people sabotage themselves in achieving their goals is that they do not make a solid decision. And so as in the comment section, to really ground this, everybody, if you've got a goal that you're in for it no matter what, say, I decide in the comment section, whether you're watching this live or the replay. And again, if you want to go deeper into a conversation about what is it that you really would love to achieve for 2018 and what is it to really make a solid decision for that dream, put the word New Year in the comment section and we'll get you going. All right, so number 3, the third way that people sabotage themselves is that they have a lack of belief, that deep down they don't really believe they can do it. Now remember, the purpose of your dream, the purpose of your goal is not for the getting, it's for the growing. So the very fact that you are thinking up something bigger than anything that you've ever accomplished before, Becky, as we were going back and forth as a gold client, as someone who's made the decision to step in at the highest form of support that I've made available, watching you put that stake in the ground and say, I'm doing this 2018, you've got a mighty goal that will cause you to really stretch and discover elements about yourself that you don't need to know continuing to create the status quo. So the fact that you don't believe it is actually good news. Now, if you stay in disbelief, you stay in inactivity. So there's a whole process of building your believing. Now, that's a key piece, that if you're coming to these Facebook Lives, I'm sharing that with you over and over and over again, of how to build your believing. If you go back to the first way that people sabotage themselves, is by not having a burning desire. And if you remember what I said, that one of the ways to to build that desire, to fan the flame of desire, is to create clear images, to have very clear images of this goal that you say you would love to achieve. The clearer you are with those images, and the more you're able to mentally work, mentally rehearse in this amazing faculty that we call our imagination, the more you identify as the person who achieved that goal, and the bigger your believing grows. You grow your believing. And I've got some other things for that as well, and the ways 4 and 5 to build your believing. Here's the other thing I want you to realize. So many people say, well, I believe in myself. I believe in myself. What I'm going to encourage you is to do a little shift with this. It's not a matter of believing in you. We are remarkable beings, and that human ingenuity will get you far, but it will only get you so far. What you're really developing a belief in is the power that's moving through you, the power that is so much bigger than you in the human form. So you're building a belief in that there really is this creative life force at work on your behalf. The other thing that you're building your believing in is in these immutable laws, that when you come to understand that there are laws, that there's a very specific system that govern our results, and that it's not a matter of necessarily believing in you, other than believing in your ability to learn and apply the laws. I don't have to believe in myself to put my foot on the ground and know that my foot's going to stick. I believe in gravity. I believe in the law of gravity. Now, it's not an either or, it's a both and. But when we make it count on our own human will and determination, when that's the only thing that we're putting our belief in, again, you will build something wonderful out, but there's a point that it just won't take you past. So as you really come to understand that there is a power, a force for good, a force for life, a force for love at work in your behalf, and that there are laws that govern our results, and you deepen your decision and your commitment to deepen your relationship with this invisible power and deepen your awareness of how these laws work, now you're building your believing in your ability to truly bring what you see in your mind into the facts of your life. So in the comment section, to really ground this, put the word believe in the comment section, whether you're watching this live or the replay. And again, if you want to talk next week about your dream and building that a wonderful 2018, put the words "let's talk" in the comment section. Okay, number 4. What's the 4th way that people sabotage themselves when going for a goal? It's the way they relate and the story they tell themselves around what they see as lack of progress. Again, go back to what I've been sharing throughout this entire broadcast. The purpose of your goal is for is for the growing, not for the getting. So the very fact that you have a goal that's going to require you to grow means you don't know how to do it, which means there's a learning curve. There's a learning curve in terms of what skills are required to bring it into the facts of your life. There's a learning curve in terms of becoming that match, that frequency, becoming coherent with the person living that dream. That there's a whole process of really putting on that identity. And things don't move right away. Or things may start moving and then they stall out. It's not, growth is not a straight line. It's not a straight continuum. Sometimes it kind of looks like this, or it'll go phew. like that, which, again, Becky, you've discovered that. So that goes back to the very first reason that people sabotage themselves is a lack of a burning desire. When you have a burning desire and you have something that you couldn't imagine life without, you become willing to roll with however the progress looks, and you let go of attachment to it having to look like a particular way. Napoleon Hill, who talks about burning desire, has a great story in his first chapter in Think and Go Rich about a guy by the name of Edward C. Barnes, who wanted to become a business associate with Hill. He didn't want to go to work for Hill. He wanted to become a business associate with Hill. And so he traveled as a hobo back in the late 1800s on a train, knocked on the door of Edison's laboratory in Orange, New Jersey, dirty, smelly, and effectively said, I'm here to be a business associate, to be a business partner with you. There was nothing in his appearance that would suggest that this guy had the ability to do that. But Edison saw something in him and said, all right, come on in, but you're going to start at the beginning. You're going to start by sweeping the floors of my laboratory. 5 years. Hill talks about how it took 5 years before Barnes saw any sign that anything different was going to happen for him. And Hill makes a remarkable statement where he talks about how Barnes didn't get disappointed, Barnes didn't back down, but the weight actually fueled the flame of desire, that his desire grew even more. Now imagine the mental move that's required to keep building your desire in order to stay faithful to your goal. Most people, which is why it's only 4% of the population that really live at this level of achievement, of achieving their goals, most people allow the lack of momentum, or what they can see on the surface as momentum, to be the reason working. The only time you fail is when you stop, because you don't know what's really happening for you as you're continuing to build the muscles that are required in order for you to be able to truly be the person achieving and living your goal. This is why a decision is so imperative, that you make a decision no matter what. I told the story on the Facebook Live on my personal page before I came on here about how there were times in my 6 years, I've been doing this full time now in this incarnation. I mean, I've been doing this kind of work for decades, but in this particular incarnation of my business for 6 years, there were times when I would fly hours, drive hours, show up, have 5 or 6 people there, pour my heart into a presentation, give them an opportunity to go further with it. And there's one time in particular I remember, it was my birthday. I remember thinking, oh my God, I made this choice on my birthday, where I poured into everything that I had into them, and on the surface, it didn't look like there was any tangible result. And I remember driving back down the mountain and thinking that there was a part of me that just wanted to get disappointed. There was a part of me that just was like, oh God, really? Is it worth it? And as I have the 5th way that we sabotage ourselves, I have that in place, and I worked the formula, I was able to stare that voice down and say, no, those people were well served. I have no idea where those seeds are going to go. And I'm proud of the way that I showed up. I loved what I did as I was showing up. This is what it is to stack your wins. It counteracts the feeling of disappointment if you're not seeing the momentum and the kind of results that you would really like to see. This is what causes you to really step into being that person and build your believing. And I built out a remarkable result that year. So one of the things to realize is that you cannot judge your momentum based on individual activities. You see it in totality, and you are identifying your successes every step along the way. It is the best antidote to disappointment. All right. So in the comment section, put persistence, knowing that you are persistent towards your goal, even when it looks like that things aren't moving, that you are staying persistent to your goal. And then finally, the fifth way that people sabotage themselves, it's lack of support. They don't have the support in place. All successful people, again, back to Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, all successful people have a high degree of support around them to really help them move through those times of disappointment, those times of sludge. It just feels like you're moving through sludge, to help them build their believing when you're not able to harness it and access it for yourself. I surround myself with people who are able to look at me and believe in me while believing in the laws and the power that's breathing me, and offer me to borrow their belief. In fact, tomorrow night, I'm going to go hang out with my awareness mentor for 2 days as I continue to deepen my understanding of how we create our results and deepen my reliance and relationship with this remarkable power, and deepen my belief in this life force moving through me and my ability to achieve my next audacious goal. I met my goal in 2018 or 2017, and now I'm on to my next audacious goal. So we are not built to do this alone. We were not created to do this alone. That fallacy where people say, well, I should be able to do this on my own. You know, the reality is, if you were able to do it on your own, you would have done it already. And so to give yourself the gift of support. So, well, hey, Kelly, it's so good to see you. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, if you know you want support with your dream and you're ready for a deeper conversation, put the word New Year in the comment section, and we'll get a time set up for you and me to have a conversation about your audacious goal for 2018. All right, so let's review. 5 ways that people sabotage themselves. Number 1, lack of desire. Number 2, lack of decision. Number 3, lack of belief. Number 4, lack of momentum. Number 5, lack of support. As you build your desire, make a decision, no matter what, I'm doing this. Activate your belief as you deepen your understanding of how we create our results, and a belief in this power that woke you up this morning, that gave you these amazing capabilities and skills, and is with you every step along the way. You build your momentum and you give yourself permission to have support. As you do those antidotes for the reasons why you sabotage yourself, watch how at the end of 2018, you'll be turning around and you'll be saying, oh my gosh, I did it. I achieved my goal. And from there, you are so in awe of who you grew into in the process. And you just hear yourself saying, oh my gosh, I love my life. All right, so I will be live next week, 12:15 Tuesday Pacific time. I'll actually be in Austin. So as I take this work around the world, I'll be in Austin serving a number of different groups in the Austin area, Austin, Texas next week. So if you're in the Austin area, private message me and I'll let you know where I'm going to be, and let's come hang out live. And if you know you want a conversation to go deeper into your dream next week as well, it'll be from Austin. Put the words New Year in the comment section and feel me looking you in the eye as your partner in believing, knowing that as you dream it up and you make a decision for it and you say, I'm in, that the power in you that generated the idea in the first place, that power knows how to bring it into the facts of your life. And as you do that, it's the way you bring your greatest contribution to the body of humanity. My name is Felicia Searcy. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Your dream is my passion. See you next week. God bless everyone.